Alexa, stop. Hello, dear friends. In this chapter, I'm going to speak about how did I transform from zero to hero. For the ones who do not know this phrase, it means how I was so non-productive myself and how did I transform into a person that has been very transformed, and how did I transform into a person that has been very productive. I wasn't born like this. Right now, when you look at me, you could say, oh, he's an author of 6 books, he published a lot of books, he gave a TED speech, he's going all around the world giving trainings. And yes, this requires an extreme amount of productivity, delegation skills, automation skills, leadership skills. However, neither me nor anyone else who is productive in life or who is at the level that they want to be or who is reaching their full potential were not born this way. So neither was I. And I will give you a very short example on how bad I was at being productive, so how unproductive I was in my university years. I was living in a very small room. I'm coming from a middle class family. So apart from paying for my accommodation, my food, basically basic needs, my father couldn't give me any more money. So I had to do with minimum. So I had a room that was, I don't know, 5 to 5, I guess, a very small room that could fit a bed, a very thin wardrobe, and a table for a very bad and old computer. So that was my room. And the windows were from glass. Sorry, the windows were from wood. They were not the latest PVC technology that doesn't emit nor noise, nor cold, whatever. And I studied in a very small town in Turkey called Çanakkale. And that town is known to be very, very windy. And in the nights, it's because the window frames were made out of wood, wind was entering through these windows to my room a lot. However, there was a solution. Even though it wasn't perfect, it was good enough. I could go to a stationery shop and buy these sponges with silicone that you could actually stick around the frames that wouldn't allow wind to enter. So that was the suggestion that I got from a friend, and I knew that it was a good suggestion. However, think about it. This is my question to you. How long do you think it took me to go to this shop and buy these sponges? Think for a few seconds. Guess. I never did it. I postponed it for 3 months during the winter. Every day I said, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. But when I went to the city center, I forgot about it and I didn't do it. So I procrastinated this very simple, small task every day. And what was the price I paid? As you can imagine, I was freezing cold in the nights. 1 blanket wasn't enough, 2 blankets wasn't enough. Every night I remember waking up because of cold. The price that I paid for such a small effort was huge. And I didn't do this effort. Why? I don't know. I would have done it 1,000 times now. But back then, and this was when I was 18, 19, I wasn't super young. I was procrastinating this all the time. And I paid the price heavily. So this is how unproductive I was. Continuously procrastinating tasks, getting bad grades, and I was pretty lazy. And in the next chapters, I will tell my story a bit more on how I went in the direction of being a productivity guru. Well, I'm joking, I'm not a guru, of course, but I believe that I'm on the way, so I'm going to share my story with you to resonate a bit more on how everybody starts from somewhere. See you in the next episode. Bye bye. Hello everybody. In the previous episode, I was talking about how bad I was being... Hello everybody. In the previous episode, I was talking about how unproductive I was in my youth years and told you a very tragic story that I had. And you know, one of the most important things in changing anything, not only about productivity, on anything positively, is awareness. And I will tell you the story how I start becoming aware if I would carry on life being unproductive that way, the price that I was going to pay would be much heavier. In my last year of the university, I was supposed to go to another country to study for a year. It's called an Erasmus program. Most Europeans, it's called an Erasmus program. Most of the European students know it. But if you don't know it, it's a European Union funded project where you can go to another country and study there for a year. So I passed the exam because my English was already good. But because of this and that reasons, I couldn't go to that country. And I got the news that I couldn't go to Bulgaria. I was going to study in Bulgaria for a year. After I got my visa, after I arranged my tickets, and after I have agreed with my Latvian girlfriend to move there together. She was going to come from Latvia, I was going to come from Istanbul, and make a life together. And because my grades were bad, my professors did not allow me to go at the last minute. And the reason that I learned at last minute was my fault, because I didn't do enough research. I thought that I could do it, but then when I found out that my grades should be higher than this for me to do it, I had to make a decision. I either would go, but burn my year, because I had to study an extra year, or I would stay. And I stayed. And I lost my girlfriend, of course. So it is a tragic story for me, and I get emotional when I tell it, even though it has been more than 15 years. But my point is, if I would make that decision right now, if I had that dilemma, I don't think so, but that's another topic. But because I was unproductive, I had bad grades, I didn't have a disciplined life, I didn't put on enough research on what I wanted to do, my time management was terrible, and because of all this, the price that I had to pay was very, very big. I lost, well, I could say, the love of my life, I guess. Well, afterwards, right now, I have a girlfriend that I love so much. So everything happens for a reason, but back then, I really thought that Ines, that girl, was the one. Enough about my love life. But after this, a transformation happened with me, because I think one of my best qualities is that I'm a resilient person. So at this tragic moment where my girlfriend left me, that I couldn't go to Bulgaria and I was homeless, I could do two things. I could choose two things. One was that I could cry and lock myself into a room. Well, I didn't have a house, so I don't know if I could lock myself into a room, but you get my point. Or I could try to change this. Well, I didn't win Ines back later, but I said, okay, from now on, I will be more productive. I will pay attention to my life more, and I will be a more disciplined person. So I made a huge decision. And I remember after that, the first day I went running 10 kilometers. I started putting sports in my life, and then I started studying every day regularly, and then I took courses on time management and managed my time more, and then I communicated with my professors more. And at the end of that year, my grade, we had an average of 4. So 4 was the maximum point and 0 was the low, as you can imagine. My grade at the third class was 2 out of 4, and in the last class I managed to bring it up to 3, which is a huge success. So this is how much I transformed in that part. This awareness, this tragedy made me the person who I am today. And with that awareness, I have begun to become better and better and better at becoming productive. And there was another parameter that really helped me on becoming a very productive person, and that was the student association that I had been a part of, which I'm going to speak about in the next episode. See you later. Hello everybody. In the previous episode, I was talking about the moment of awareness that I had due to the tragic event that happened in my life, which started making me a more productive person. At least I started taking that journey on being a productive person. And as I said, one of the biggest parameters on me becoming the person who I am today was thanks to the fact that I have become a member of a student organization, NGO, which stands for non-governmental organization, called IG. This organization is a European organization that is in more than 40 countries, that has more than 15,000 members, and I became a part of it in the city that I studied, in Çanakkale, in Turkey. And that organization had a lot of universal-minded people, a lot of world citizens, a lot of students that wanted to do much more than just going to school and back to their houses or dormitories. And this has transformed me a lot. Firstly, in the local level, my friend circle started changing a lot. And we are going to speak about the importance of friends in a high frequency. And after that, I started attending to conferences all around Turkey and all around Europe as well. And most of them were funded by my school by Turkish government or by the European Union. So I didn't even need to spend any money on this, which I didn't have back then. And every event that I went, every training that I have attended helped me understand more how can I increase the quality of my life and how can I make a better version of myself. Because in the trainings, they were giving us soft skills trainings from time management to stress management, from project management to leadership. But more importantly, I have met a lot of inspirational people that are around my age who were extremely efficient in their lives, that could speak 2, 3, 5, 10 languages, that strive to be a part of the biggest, most important schools in Europe or in the world, that had amazing careers later on because they always strived to improve themselves. And this has been a very, very important parameter for me. The things that I have learned in that student association and the people that I have known, which changed my friend circle, which as a result changed my frequency. Obviously, I can give you much more examples on how this NGO, this student organization, changed my life. But my point here is this: if you're a student, make sure that you do other activities apart from just going to school. It will enrich you a lot. Take an internship, be a part of a student organization, be a part of any organization. And as an adult, you don't only have to be a student to do this. You can be a part of organizations as an adult as well, or take a hobby, go to a course, continue to improve yourself. And this has been a very important parameter for me, and I'm seeing with everybody that I know in my life, people that are doing such kind of extracurricular activities, they strive to be a better versions of themselves every day. So I'm very thankful to the NGO experience that I have had because it laid the foundation of me being an extremely efficient person. And then once this has become an important muscle in my life, then I started being a productivity. Then I started becoming a productivity junkie. Well, I'm joking about this, of course, but I have turned being productive into a habit, which I'm going to speak in the next episodes as well. But before I come to that, I'm going to tell you the way that I'm making myself more and more productive every day. And that is by teaching, because I have found out that I learn the best while I teach. And this is one of the reasons that I'm doing this course as well. So in the next episode, I'm going to speak about this. See you later. One of the reasons that I'm a trainer is because whenever I teach, that I learn much better. So I would recommend you to do the same, because I have seen in a lot of people in my life that when they teach something to someone, whatever they learn, but not in a didactic, arrogant way, not like this: you're doing wrong, if you don't do this, you're never going to learn. Make it from a humble point of view. Make it from a humble level, and then the other person will not have his shields waiting for you and dodge whatever you say. So if you get into this same level of frequency with this person, and you would learn much better what you have learned, or you would internalize whatever you learned much better by teaching this to other people. I'm giving this example for people who learn English. Whatever you learn, just share it with the people that want to learn English as well. Teach it to your child, teach it to your cousins, to your nephews, because when you teach, first of all, you remember what you learn. Secondly, it motivates you more to focus deeper into what you learn. And thirdly, you feel like you're serving into something bigger than yourself. And this is one of the biggest motivating factors for people. So again, I have realized that with me and with a lot of people that I have known that are being extremely efficient, one of the best ways to internalize what they have learned is to teach other people. And I'm repeating here, it's not to teach from an arrogant point of view, saying, no, you're wrong, this is right, listen to me, not like this. You can only teach to people who are willing to learn. So if there are people that are motivated to learn whatever you are learning right now, then use this opportunity and share what you learned with them. And you will remember and internalize the things that you have learned much easier. As I said, this is the main reason why I'm doing all these trainings, because I learn much better while I teach. See you in the next episode. In this chapter, we have spoken about the younger person that was 15 years ago and how unproductive this young person was, and how he came a long way with all his failures, tragedies, NGO experiences, and learning into a habit, and became a very productive person. Again, I'll repeat, by publishing 6 books, by giving a TED speech, by having his own training company, by having his own startup, by writing, constantly going into speeches, and earning pretty good money. And the reason that I'm repeating this is not that I'm trying to be arrogant about it, but just to show you that these are all possible, and much more, of course. And this could only be possible by me turning these productivity habits into a daily habit. And what I do is that every day I do these productivity and by turning this into a habit, I mean, imagine that you are trying to be fitter by going to fitness or doing any kind of sport, right? And this is only possible by doing it regularly, right? You do it 1 day, 2 days, and then you rest a bit, and then you do it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days again, and then you rest a bit. You don't have to do 5 hours per day, but half an hour, 1 hour per day is enough. But this is only possible by continuously doing it, also at the same time allowing yourself to rest. But making it regular is the key. And with anything in life, making it and turning it into a habit is the key. And this is how I became a very productive person. I have turned being productivity into a habit. When I wake up, I spare 1 hour, 1.5 hours in watching some videos, learning about different things, ranging from cryptocurrency to finance, from NLP to languages. And then in the afternoon, I go for a walk, and then I do some sports. And then when I come back, I learn some more chess, I play some chess, and I do other learning activities. And in the evenings, I also have a schedule that I do. And the reason that I have started the reason that I am doing this for a while now, it has turned into a muscle. Right now, for me, it's not a big deal at all doing all these habits every day. It's because I got used to it. But I realized that what I'm doing is a big deal when I see other people's reaction from me. Because from outside, people think that I'm being extremely efficient and spending all my time in all these learning, working, productivity things that I'm doing. But it's not like this. I have just made it very regular, and my mind and my body got used to these habits. And every day, by doing little by little and not spending too much time, but doing it every day without missing or skipping a day unless there's an emergency, that I have turned into a very productive person. I can say honestly, I guess I spend much less time working than a lot of people that are working less efficiently than me, but when I work very efficiently, and I know what I'm going to do when I work or when I learn something. So all these habits and arranging my day and ordering my day, which I'm going to share in the time management session, has turned me into an extremely efficient and productive person. So once again, I was a very, very unproductive person 15 years ago, 10 years ago, not so long ago. And by awareness and by making the right decisions and by continuously improving myself and by having the right circle around me, by reading a lot, by watching a lot, by teaching a lot, I have turned into a very productive person. This wasn't a miracle. It just took a very important decision and the guts to stick with this decision. And then my life started changing. In the next episodes, we're going to get into much more detail about this. We're just starting. See you later, and thanks for listening.